Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the go-kart build, continuation of the go-kart build. Don't look too closely at my hair because I cut it myself and it's absolutely bollocks, but it's better than I could get elsewhere because I can't, so whatever. Today I got a couple of things in the post, so I'm going to crack on with those little bits, and then as things arrive this week I'll continue this episode and we'll kind of hopefully get a bit forward. So what arrived today, thank you very much Go Passport, is this. Nice little exhaust, job done, so that's going to be quite fun. Stick that out the back. But we also received this, which I found out, having spoken to them, that this is not going to fit. It's for the small block, so it doesn't fit. Or does it? No, see, doesn't fit. Doesn't fit. Bolt patterns are too far away. It doesn't fit. Great, that was nice. So that means I've got a adapter plate for a 212 Predator engine, Predator knockoff, whatever. I'm really glad that doesn't fit, as I found out when it was on its way. Thank you very much. So this one though, this one does fit, and so what I'm going to do, aeroplane. Don't know why they can fly. Yes, that kind of doesn't fit. Bit annoying. Another thing that doesn't fit is, excuse the mess of my pile of karty stuff there, is this chain and that. Well, actually, you'll find that this does fit. But it doesn't fit on that clutch. I didn't know that there were two different pitches. That is a 420, that is a 219. They don't fit together. Bollocks. So what I've done is I've got a split sprocket on the back there, but it doesn't mean I'm going to have to remove the whole rear axle again, pain in the arse. So I'm going to remove that and fit the split sprocket that's on its way. So hopefully that won't be too long. Then it will fit with that, and I've got a 420 chain to go with it. So that should hopefully all put it all together. So I'm going to do that. But first of all, because I'm putting on this, I won't actually put it on until it's all mounted on the car. But anyway, I can take off the exhaust from there, so the original exhaust. So I'm going to take that one off now. Heavy ass piece. It actually is really heavy. So we don't, oh bloody hell. So we don't need any of this. So that will go. And it makes it a lot nicer looking, doesn't it? Look at that, pretty. Ah. I'm also going to take off the air filter as well, because I got one of those coming too, so I'll do that now as well. So again, all of that massive housing for the air filter, gone, don't need that. Again, pretty heavy. Get rid of it. Now it's actually starting to look a bit of a nicer little engine. I will be removing eventually, it's got fuel at the moment, so I'm gonna drain that at some point, but only when the new tank arrives. The new tank will sit under there. I'll get some high strength Velcro, as I mentioned, that will sit under there. So that is what's going to sit on here, and that will look better. So I'll also be doing a governor removal in a future episode. But yeah, that's what it's going to look like, and it will also have this on it, so it will look like this. See, now I think that looks badass. That's going to stick out the back nicely. Might have to get a little shroud around it or cover, make sure no one burns himself. But that's going to look pretty badass to me. Wicked. In fact, what I'm going to do is, it needs a bit of paint, so radiator paint should get hot, right? Pretty hot. Sod it, we'll paint it that, see what happens. And even if that burns off as soon as it goes on, just for the moment before it goes on, that looks badass. So no regrets there. So paint that one up, that'll go on the side. Like I said, I'm going to strip some stuff down off that, but I am waiting for a few things to arrive, so in the next few days, I hope, hopefully by the end of this week, but I'll try and piece it all together so it'll be one episode anyway, because we are waiting for more stuff. I do need a crankcase breather from the side, so I need to get one of those on ordered, coming out the back there. I do have the air filter, as I mentioned, coming for the engine and the adapter there. I then got the upgraded exhaust, got a new jet for it as well, and then I can relocate the as soon as the pieces arrive, relocate the fuel tank under the back there, and then we can start. I've got a fuel pump as well, so I need to get out and some hoses and everything. So hopefully I should then have everything I need to start putting it back together. The mount I did get from Go Power Sports, I got a replacement from someone else, but also in the States, so I do have to wait. Put that back in there. Looks lovely when it's in there. Look at that, sweet as. So yeah, I've got a replacement mount that will fit on there. We did look at making something. You can see there it's slightly mocked up, but I don't really have a good enough drill bit, or my tools aren't good enough really to get the flexibility I need. So the thickness of the metal I chose is quite thick, so to drill through it actually takes quite a lot of effort on the drill. So I wanted to create kind of an adjustable position where you could slide it backwards and forwards, because it makes it easier to work out where the engine needs to sit, because it is a bigger engine. I need to work out and get the alignment for the rear sprocket, etc. And trying to do that on a mount that I made just isn't, it's just a pain in the arse. So, and we don't really have that many decent shops around us to try and get the things that I need. So it just was easier. It's about $60 for the mount that's fully adjustable. It's just like the one I've got, billet one. It just is bigger. So it's slightly frustrating that I've got a mount that doesn't fit now, but it just means that I might have to get another go-kart and just build another one. But yeah, so sprayed that, started stripping those off, and as soon as something else arrives this week, we'll start piecing a few more bits together. Another weekend passed and nothing got delivered, but today we had a couple of small things arrive, one of which being a proper, do you know what this is? This is for bleeding the brakes. So the brakes were working, but not exactly very well at all. And my worry was that was going to come down here and go straight into that wall. So I thought I better invest in something that would actually bleed the brakes a bit better. So we're going to set about bleeding the brakes today, making sure that they're on point and actually stop. Because when we put an engine in there, might need that one. So I'm going to crack on and see how we get on with that. These are the adapters that I have. And guess what? They don't fit in that hole. I was like, oh, one of them will fit. No, they don't. None of them fit at all. So now I'm going to have to try and find a different adapter online to see if I can make that fit. So our sketchy brakes will have to do for now. But we do have another thing that arrived in the post today. So we're moving on to the rear axle. And what did we get in the post, Zach? It's just over behind you.
We got a 2-pot sprocket.
Split sprocket it's called.
A split sprocket. Now it will fit with it's the same pitch as the clutch, and so basically all we need to wait for is the change so that it can fit together. But our most important thing is the engine mount.
Exactly.
Is it going to like stick together?
Yeah, it's going to go up like this.
So we're gonna, but again, because of this, we now had to take the rear axle off again, slide everything off. But that should be the last time. And a lot of people did recommend a split sprocket to start with. I just couldn't find one. But I found one now, which is easier because it means you don't. So once I've got this off and the new one back on, it means I don't actually have to then change or take the axle off to replace the sprocket in the future.
Also, when we see it here, it's a bit hard to like turn every time.
Yeah, it will be quite hard to turn, Harper. You'll have to do it with on someone's lap, I reckon.
Yeah.
Don't know how fast it'll be first. We'll have to see how that is. Yeah. But let's just get this.
A grown-up will start to go on there, not like a grown-up will start to go on there on the go-kart, not me first.
That sounds good. Right, so we're going to take this this rear axle off and get this old sprocket off, and then start to fit the new one.
Because it's a bit dangerous for me.
Yeah, I think so. On your own anyway.
Yeah.
So we put the split sprocket on, well, with a couple of bolts anyway. I need, again, we've got some more in order that haven't arrived, but that's on. But me and Zach were just discussing, and we put it on this way. I can't remember which way I had it on last time.
Like a buzzy bee.
You do look like a buzzy bee, Harper.
Yeah, so...
yeah, so why can't we have it on that? Well, which way do you reckon we should have it on, Zach?
I am thinking that that we should have it on the other way, because we need it as close as the clutch as possible so that the chain can actually work through properly. But if it's if this goes here, then it's going to be touching down. That's not really going to be that helpful.
Yeah, exactly. Clearances are a bit of an issue, and while we've got the axle like this anyway, we may as well take it off and switch it around the other way, so we've got a few more options when it comes to clearance. So we'll whip it back out quickly and then flip it around. You enjoying the seat there, Harper?
Yeah, it's lovely actually.
Pretty chilled.
Yeah, but it's a bit too small for my arms.
Are you kidding? I've got to try and fit in that. You think it's small for you? No
Yeah,
chance.
so we're basically what we're just going to do. We're just going to take take off the rear axle one more time.
Flip that around.
Flip this around. We're not actually going to have to take the sprocket off, are we?
No, we just flip it around. We've done that. That's all flipped over and back on. So what we'll do now is we'll put the axle key in there, and put the rear hub on that side. Put it all back together. One of the comments, which is very valid and something that has been my concern, is that this is the wrong axle, and that is correct, because if you notice, you've got a keyway here for the brake disc, but you don't have one here, so which is a problem. I'm going to try and tighten it up as tight as possible for the first run, but I'm in contact with a couple of places to see if I can find one that has the keyway on this side. Because normally on the Rotex carts you have the keyway on the outside, which enables you to have the sprocket over there. So I need to find one that has a keyway here. And if you don't know, which is what I found out, the keyways are to hold these little things in place. Same that goes on the end there, and then you have the little bit here that slots into there, which will lock it into place on the axle. Obviously we don't want the axle to be turning, or this to be turning and the axle not, because this is a live axle and that will stop us moving forwards.
Yeah.
Right, so we're just going to bolt this axle back up and then and put wheels back on. At least we've got one little task done today.
Yay.
So that's all back together, as you can see, and hopefully I found a decent supplier in the UK for split sprockets, especially for the I think 420 pitch it is rather than the 219, the smaller ones, and you can see the difference in the pitches there. That's quite fat, which matches the clutch, compared to this tiny one, which matches the chain that we actually bought. So we've now got a 219 chain and 219 sprocket, so that could be useful for a future project maybe. But anyway, we've managed to swap everything over there, and that's back rolling. So all we're waiting on now is the engine mount, which has been posted out, but it's coming from the States, so I have to wait for that. Chain is on its way too, but as soon as we've got the chain and the mount, we can start to properly put this thing back together. I don't want to mount the seat just yet, because I want to see where the engine sits and how much space we have there. Did a bit more painting there as well, so all this side pod's nicely painted up. Everything's pretty much painted now apart from this side of the side pod. I ran out of paint, so we need to go get some more. But yeah, otherwise we're painted, all sorted. I mean, the brakes will do. I will manually pump them a bit more when the seats in, because I can sit in there and pump the brakes a bit more. Axles all back together. So really, as soon as we've got in fact I created a list. These are the things that I'm waiting on. So
throttle cable.
Throttle cable, obvious, we need that. The new mount, we need that.
Yeah.
I've got the air filter coming as well, as I mentioned, which will go on the engine, the same as the new exhaust, which is nicely then painted, you saw earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, chain material. It's just for the steering wheel. It's not needed because I stripped the old material off, so it's just on the foam, so it's not a necessity to get it going though. Sprocket nuts and bolts, yeah, I've only held that together with about 3, so that's not ideal. Brake bleed has arrived, but it isn't got the right thing, so I need to find that out. And grub screws for the axle back here. It didn't come with any, so I need some to hold the axle in place there. And I'm looking at a new rear axle, and then I got some other bits, but that's for later. So hopefully this delivery will arrive semi-soon, and I can start kicking stuff back off with there. I am going to do an update on Sienna, where she is at, and what I'm going to do with that. In fact, I might crack on with some of the stuff that I can't really do too much, because the parts I need I can't get, not until the borders are open again. But I'll do a bit of an update on Sienna as well in a video coming up soon, while I wait for the other parts may as well, and I might crack on the final bits of the bodywork and start putting things back together, and then we can really kind of crack on. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. But this one, we're making slow progress, all dependent on Postman as always, but at least it's kind of
It's on its way.
it's on its way, it's getting there. So we'll see you next time, and don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, blah, 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 whatever.
No fear, only fight. I'm fearless, it's only right. My head's up, I stay strong. Forever young, may you live long. With perseverance, hold on and stand tall.